All right, so I think that corporations for years have been plotting the end of entry level jobs. I think that's the reason why the entry level job doesn't really exist, but entry level pay is here to stay. And that wasn't supposed to rhyme at all, but it did. So think of this. Every time you walk into a grocery store and you see a self checkout, and you think, how are there eight self checkouts on each side of the store, but there's only like three total employees working in the front doing the checkout? That's because they have 16 employees that they don't have to pay. They don't have to be concerned about their health care or any sort of benefits to these employees. Well, that was our initial taste of artificial intelligence and automation. What they've been doing for years is softening up the public towards more hands off customer service. Because if you have called any customer service line over the past 2 to 3 years, you'll notice that more and more of these 800 numbers or even text or chat, right? Because when I worked at Insight, you were supposed to be able to manage answering the phones and doing chat, doing tech support through chat simultaneously. Well, what they've done is they've gotten rid of the person working in the call center and just replaced them with an AI bot. Same thing can be said about trying to get help from Amazon. They use these AI bots in order to do their customer service so that they don't have to hire more people into these alleged jobs. I mean, again, let's define what a job means in America. To me, a job in America means that you have job security, you're financially comfortable, and your job isn't trying to take you out like Hal from that movie. What is it? The Space Odyssey movie. Because I have a person who says crew expendable all the time inside of my comment section, and it is very true. The crew is expendable. And I think as Trump further and furthers his agenda, it is clearly showing that they don't want poor people around and that they want all the jobs that poor people would normally do to be done by something other than people. Because we don't live in an environment that caters towards people. We haven't for a very long time. No one cares if you can't afford to pay your rent or you can't afford to eat. In fact, today I was talking to a president of another school and I got to the point with her where I told her, it's like, oh my gosh, you were saying so many things that are annoying me that I just want to pick you up and shake you. And she's just like, yeah, I don't think we're going to do that. She just got really annoyed with me because I just didn't understand why someone would think this way. And you think of a person that's in charge of running an entire business would be more caring towards the employees that are suffering the indignity of extreme poverty while they work for her. And yet she said this to me, and you're talking about a person that's pulling down roughly $200,000 a year. She said to me, I'm eating a lot more ramen. I'm really angry at the cost of eggs, and I eat spam almost every other day. That's a person making a decent salary. Can you imagine what her entry level workers, what their lives must be like? They're one paycheck away from their promobile exploding into a mushroom cloud. Susie Rottencrotch is depressed because Johnny Sixpack doesn't come around anymore. And every time he does come around, he has less and less money in order to give to Susie. In fact, I got that Susie Rottencrotch call today, which I just ignored because it's not easy in order to make a living anymore. And the callous nature of the corporations is really making us feel terrible because I don't feel good. I've never felt good about getting up and going to work my entire adult life, but now that work doesn't even buy you the basics anymore, it makes you feel terrible. That's why I chose this title for this video. The end of the entry level job, welcome to the standard entry level pay. And that's slowly pushing you into a life where you're going to be on the street or worse off. You're working full time, but you're living in your car or you're staying on someone's couch. And with that said, let's get into our four talking points. So, the disappearing of entry level jobs, automation and AI, I don't know why that sounded so weird, and AI are eliminating the fundamental jobs that used to launch careers. Companies now want experienced workers for even the most basic positions, but they're still offering entry level pay. So that's something I talk about in this channel routinely is that they're only looking for experienced workers. That means that if you're a college grad right now, fresh out of a university or college, that they don't want you. And it's very evident because corporate America is erasing Gen Z faster than they can hire them. It's the number one thing that Gen Zs are finding is that within a few months, they are being let go because they're not good for corporate America. And Gen Z's attitude towards the workplace is not one that's going to be accepted. If you're not willing to work for free on a salary, if you still think that you're going to get some sort of benefits or you're going to be able to travel or have a flexible schedule, it's not there. Just look at the older people. Just look at the way they look. I mean, when I'm walking around in the office and I look at people my own age and I think to myself, oh my God, look what the corporation has done to that person. They're bald, they're fat, they're people who have given up on life. That's who corporate America wants to hire. And for some reason, Gen Z wants to hold on to this belief that they may be able to make a living. That's not true. If you are not an experienced worker, it is going to show very quickly while you're working there. And they're working hard to make certain that they get rid of these people. Job listings that demand 5 to 10 years of experience and barely pay living wages is the standard for our society. I mean, look at my worker. Without his family to constantly be supporting him, he'd be in the gutter right now. And he has, I was actually saying this to him today. At his age, he still has what would be considered an entry level job. And this is a person who spent most of his adult life working in fast food, never being able to move up. And what do his parents keep asking him? Why aren't you saving money? Why aren't you doing better? Why don't you have a high paying job? And his only response to that is the opportunities just aren't there. Talking point number two, the false promise of hard work and moving up. I use this particular point all the time because immense effort doesn't always equal to what it should mean. Immense effort should automatically come with immense financial comfort. But those things are on two separate planets at this point. Entry level jobs once promised growth opportunities, but now companies keep workers in stagnant roles for years without raises, promotions, or skills development. A few months ago, I had one of my coworkers that lives in another state come over and attack me about how I wasn't taking advantage of the corporation's training programs. They offer training in every conceivable thing. But guess what? Those training courses have to be done on your own time. They have to be done when you have the energy to participate in training. And my corporation requires that you do at least 20 hours of training per year. When you think about 20 hours over the course of 2,080 hours, which is the standard amount of hours that an average person working 40 hours a week works in corporate America, I assure you, I do not work the standard 2,080 hours. There's a lot of overtime in my job in which you just can't, you don't know when it's going to happen. When you work in technology, something may happen in the next couple of hours where my boss says you need to do this right now. Or I may get to work and be told that you're going to be working the weekend or you're going to be working late. I mean, I had it a few weeks ago where I had to work late Friday night, I had to work Saturday and Sunday, and that turned my week into a 9-day work week. Going 9 days without a day off or even an hour off is very difficult. But you're expected to do that, even in jobs where there are no promotions. But getting back to the skill development, he was attacking me for not upskilling myself within the workplace. And I told him, it's like, why would I do that? What's there for me to do here in a job that requires almost no technical ability whatsoever? I work in technology, but my job isn't technical support. My job is to manage a technology office, not go around helping people. I still help people because I'm still part of that group. I'm still part of the technology group. I'm just not part of the group that is supposed to help you figure out which end of your mouse is the business end. That's not my job. But for many people who don't understand why people don't upskill themselves, why people don't seek out promotions, and the reason why most people don't want promotions is because it's not a promotion that comes with more money. The promotions that I've gotten for Evil Corp have been, here's the promotion, we're changing your job description with HR, but it comes with no raise. We know you're a desperation worker and you have nowhere else to go. So no matter how badly we treat you, how low we keep the wages, and how badly this toxic environment is towards you, we know that you can't leave. And that's the grip. That's Evil Corp's hand on your boys down there, tightening its grip until you scream and you can't run away. Talking point number 3, the automation lie. Who really benefits? Automation will make work easier and life better. But the reality is, it's designed to cut costs by replacing workers. These claims by corporation that life was going to get better through technology were always a lie. They knew that they had to soften the blow for people who were going to be working even harder with the assistance of technology, making certain that they reach those record profit margins every single year, regardless of what happened to their workforce. When they're looking for people to get rid of, because the corporation's always trying to tighten up, right? Get rid of more and more expenses. And that usually means getting rid of more people and replacing them with automated processes. So that way they don't have to pay a salary, they don't have to pay benefits. Basically, turning every job that they can into a self checkout machine throughout corporate America. I've seen this happening at my current job like you wouldn't believe. In fact, today I mentioned it to a person that, hey, so and so is gone. And he's like, what? That person was a pillar of this company. It doesn't matter who you are. If the cost savings is worth it, if they can automate what you do, or if they can hand off what you do to another person, they will do it. They don't think about you and your family or how you're going to get by because you haven't been looking for another job. Because, like myself, it doesn't matter how hard you look for a job. The wages out there are not comfortable for the proletariat. No matter what you think, I still have people who believe that things will get better in the workplace, that they will reach a point in which they will be able to be financially comfortable, have some sense of job security. Let me assure you, they are not going to let you do that. Cost cutting in every corporation means higher profits for the people that matter. As long as the executives and shareholders and the people above you up there are making the kind of money that they need, that's all that matters. In fact, someone left this comment while I was while I was sitting at my office this afternoon, and they said, why is there never a cost analysis on the job of CEO? Because if they eliminate the CEO salary, maybe they can pass off some of that money onto the ordinary workers. There's no corporation in America that would even think about doing that. Because when corporations think about their workers, they don't see them as people. They're lines on a spreadsheet. They're blank faces. They're batteries. That's all you are to corporate America. You're a battery, and when you burn out, they'll replace you with someone cheaper, smarter, and better at your job. That's what cutting costs means to the corporation. They'll use you up until they can't use you anymore. And rather than treating you like a human being, they don't care. They simply just don't care. My final talking point, the new normal, entry level pay forever. It's no longer about your skills. It's about who can survive on the bare minimum while corporations pocket the difference. Bare minimum is what I've been saying on this channel for a long time. The overall quality of life for an American has diminished to the point where we're all poor. You walk out to any place and look at the prices of food, housing, and transportation, and they're just no longer affordable. And corporations know this. In fact, today, my own Gen Z had an epiphany in the office. He came to the realization that his entry level current job is never going to pay his bills, and that his side hustle is going to have to be his selling his bodily fluids. Especially when he came to the conclusion was that plasma is the best thing for him to do. These have to be the career aspirations of a generation that sees their future as not being one that they want to participate in. I tell you guys this all the time. I have no past, I have no future, and I live to work. There's nothing in the future that I want. There's nothing in my past that I want to remember. There's nothing for me other than going to work and realizing every single day that this is the worst day of my life. And I don't say that with any amount of belief that society is going to get better for anyone other than rich people. Average Joe Blow doesn't even have the thought of Susie Rottencrotch floating around in his head anymore. It's shaking hands with the governor occasionally because you're too depressed. It's feeling like life has left you behind and that a career that you once thought might be have a bright future for you doesn't even include you in it anymore. You're waking up in your dirty, filthy apartment. You're collecting your paycheck that sucks, and you're trying to figure out how you can possibly live without two kidneys. It's gotten that bad in this country. I don't know how many people I've heard complain about the price of eggs in the last month, but the price of eggs is a symptom of a society that by far and away has moved to a position in which it doesn't care what it does to the proletariat. The proletariat never mattered in the entire time that it's ever existed, but right now those workers are feeling the pain where they shouldn't be feeling the pain, right between their legs. If you're working full time, you shouldn't have to go to work feeling like the weight of the world in the pit of your stomach, knowing full well that you can't get ahead in a corrupt system. The world has degraded to the point where poor people are slowly being automated out. And you may think, oh, that's not true. But the reality is that you yourself have become obsolete. And every time I see people outside, I see the homeless people, they are those obsolete people. They were people that couldn't change fast enough, people who couldn't get out of the way, people who had an unfortunate event happen to them. They're people, as I like to say, who had bad luck. And unfortunately, you have enough bad luck moments that you end up out there. And I'm not going to say that all homeless people are crazy, or they're all mental health patients. These are just people who couldn't make it in a system that didn't want them. Because remember, your job hates you. They may not come out, they may not post that in the break room, but the corporation hates you because you cost too much. You need too much. They want workers that are practically free and that don't complain about anything. They want workers that nod and smile while fleece is taking you from you know where. That's who they want. They want quiet little Susie sitting back there assuming the position and saying everything's going to be okay.